You're watching KSBW Channel 8. Now, coverage you can count on. This is Action News 8.
Fire breaks out at a Castroville home during a sleepover. A woman is dead. We'll have details.
In a live report on postpartum depression, tonight we'll take a look at what can cause a woman to snap, like the mother in Texas who allegedly killed her 5 children.
And our top story, Super Lotto fever. The jackpot now at $125 million.
A lot of money. Good evening. I'm Erin Clark.
And I'm Dan Green. We begin tonight with that Lotto fever that's about to get a lot hotter. Nobody, not a single person, managed to match all 6 numbers from last night's big Super Lotto Plus drawing. Now that means all that money from the jackpot will roll over to Saturday, and the big grand total is expected to be well over $125 million. It will be the biggest jackpot in California Lotto history. But before you rush out to buy those Lotto tickets, we've got some information tonight on your chances of winning, as if that would actually curb anyone's desire to win. Action News reporter Pamela Wu has been crunching the numbers. She is live right now in Salinas. Pam, the odds aren't good.
No, Dan, the odds are not good. In fact, they're a lot worse than you might even imagine, but that really hasn't stopped people from filing in and out of this 7-Eleven behind me, all their lottery tickets in hand. Statistically speaking, you are far more likely to be struck by lightning, hit a hole-in-one, or be killed in a plane crash than you are to win the California lottery.
We got a big line. Oh my God, it's being crazy.
Cash value or annual payment?
Cash value.
Lotto fever is crazy, but not nearly as crazy as the odds. Can you guess the chances you'll win the big Super Lotto Plus jackpot?
Very minute.
Well, specifically, your odds are 1 in 41 million. That number is pretty hard to comprehend, so here's a little perspective. You are 160 times more likely to die in a plane crash. You're also 1.5 times more likely to die from a plane falling on you on the ground than you are to score the big jackpot. Those daunting odds make you wonder who actually does win the lottery.
People who are just very lucky.
Juan Jose Trujillo is a math teacher at Alisal High School. He doesn't play the lottery because he knows the odds are slimmer than slim. 1 in 41 million? He says there aren't even that many people in the state.
Everybody just standing hand to hand, everybody. And there's 33 million. We would need 8 million more holding hands. Only one will win.
Which one? You got
Obviously, the odds don't matter to these people. Regardless of what the numbers say, lotto players are willing to take a gamble with a few dollars and dream they'll strike it rich.
Somebody will win it, though, sooner or later.
That's true. Somebody does strike it. Winners are made. According to the California Lottery website, there have been 7 winning tickets sold in Salinas. 1 has been sold in Santa Cruz. 2 have been sold in Monterey. So even if you are 20 times more likely to die by falling out of bed, maybe it's a chance worth taking to buy yourself a lottery ticket. Reporting live, I'm Pamela Wu. Dan, back to you.
Pamela, thanks very much. Whenever I play, it's always some yahoo from Buena Park who won, you know. Okay, all this Lotto fever, though, they say has been good for California's schools. According to the office in Sacramento, schools will get more than $70 million just from this jackpot that has now rolled over 9 times.
In other news tonight, a slumber party in Castroville turned tragic early this morning. One woman was killed in a house fire there. It happened in this home on the corner of Poole and Seymour Streets. A couple who lives here was having a slumber party for their daughter when the fire broke out around 3 in the morning. Now, everyone got out of the house safely, but the 34-year-old woman went back inside the burning home and she did not make it back out. With more on the tragedy, we go to Action News reporter Felix Cortez live in our Salinas newsroom. Felix, at this point, do we know why the woman ran back inside the burning home?
Well, Aaron, according to a relative, she may have gone back inside to save her dogs and cats. According to firefighters, the fire starts in the laundry room. In a room right next to it, 5 youngsters ranging in age from 6 to 19 are sleeping. But it's a 15-year-old who hears and smells the fire.
They were all sleeping in the, like I say, the den, and he heard the crackling. And so he woke his uncle and my niece, Roxy, and they alerted the children that were spending the night over to get out.
Everybody got out safely. Meanwhile, firefighters are on the way. When they arrive, their strategy quickly changes.
What happened was the crews were advised that there was an adult inside, and so it went from an offensive attack to a rescue.
Inside is 34-year-old Roxanne Springer, but the fire is too intense and firefighters don't get very far.
However, they observed large amounts of heat, smoke, and flames coming from the family room. They had to back out.
Springer never makes it back out alive. Firefighters find her in the bathroom. Her aunt gives this explanation as to why Springer went back into a burning house.
All we know is that she went back for the dogs. And
Do we know that for sure?
no, we don't know that for sure. But I mean, why else would she have gone down a long hallway and covered herself up with wet towels?
3 dogs and 3 cats also perished with Roxanne Springer, the mother of a 10-year-old girl.
We had one miracle because there could have been 6 deaths. So I thank the God for that.
While firefighters are still investigating the cause of the fire, they may have an answer as early as tomorrow. Firefighters also investigating whether or not the home had working smoke alarms. Aaron?
Felix, thank you. Funeral services for Roxanne Springer are scheduled for Monday. Meantime, 2 grass fires in South Monterey County burned more than 10 acres today. The small fire started around 3 this afternoon at Miller's Lodge in Arroyo Seco. One fire burned about 10 acres, the other less than 2. An outbuilding was destroyed, though. Several fire companies were called to the scene, all helping get those fires under control rather quickly.
Sad news tonight. Veteran blues guitarist John Lee Hooker, best known here on the Central Coast for his great performances here, has died. Hooker's foot-stomping, deep voice electrified audiences in Santa Cruz so many times, and of course all over the world. He inspired generations of musicians. His music career spanned 6 decades. He released more than 100 albums in his career. Hooker was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1991. His agent says Hooker died at his home in Los Altos of natural causes in his sleep. He was 81. Other sad news tonight. We are getting word from Los Angeles that veteran actor Carroll O'Connor has died. Best known, of course, for his performance of Archie Bunker on All in the Family, and also his performance in the Heat of the Night. Politically, Carroll O'Connor was known for his efforts to try and stiffen drug laws here in California after the suicide death of his son. Carroll O'Connor died of a heart attack at the age of 79. On the Crime Watch tonight, a hearing for the man accused of a murder that happened more than 20 years ago. Michael Adams is accused of the rape and murder of Sylvia Edgren. It happened back in 1981. Adams was arrested earlier this year after DNA tests linked him to that crime. The hearing is expected to determine whether or not there is enough evidence to try him. Tomorrow, a DNA expert is expected to testify in the preliminary hearing regarding the tests. At the same time, Adams should find out whether or not he will be bound over for trial.
San Benito County man accused of running a puppy mill was also in court today. Kenneth Hershey Jr. was told he'll find out next week if he'll be tried on charges of animal abuse. Hershey has been charged with 48 felony counts of animal abuse after being caught allegedly raising animals for profit. About 160 dogs were found in the so-called puppy mill, abused and malnourished. All of them are now up for adoption at local animal shelters. Meantime, animal shelters here on the Central Coast, like this one in Monterey, need your help. They're short on toys for dogs, specifically ones that help keep their teeth healthy, like Chewies, non-colored dog biscuits, and tennis balls. If you'd like to donate toys or money, you can just call your local animal shelter and ask them what they truly need.
City of Salinas has decided not to go ahead with its fight for the domain name cityofsalinas.com. Earlier this month, an arbitration panel decided that resident Brian Baughan can retain the ownership of the name. He registered it. And this week, the City of Salinas decided not to fight him in court. The panel said cityofsalinas.com was not a protected trade name, and so Baughan can keep it. In Monterey, more than 200 military officers and civilians graduated. The Naval Postgraduate School held its ceremony this morning. All the students received advanced technical degrees in various fields of study, including engineering, arts, and science. The keynote speaker, Army General John Gordon with the United States Department of Energy. Well, we've got much more to come tonight on Action News at 6. When we come back, an amazing sight, a solar eclipse We'll tell you where this view came from.
Consumer Product Safety Commission. Some activists are demanding the commission get tougher when it comes to recalls on kids' products. We'll explain coming up on Action News 8.
And a Houston mother accused of killing her 5 children appeared in court today. We'll tell you what happened. We'll also have a live report on postpartum depression, something her husband says may have pushed her over the edge. First, though, here's Dave Harmon in for Jim Vanderswan with a first look at tonight's weather. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Aaron. Well, a look at the latest satellite picture. Looks like it's actually a still shot, but this is a satellite loop. Very few clouds in there. You can see some right at the end over the Sierra. Under all this sunshine, it's a matter of microclimates, and along the coast, very comfortable. Farther inland, it's not so comfortable. Now, that comfort factor is going to stay about the same over the next few days, only it'll shift positions. Mostly clear skies this evening. I'll explain what I mean by that in about 15 minutes.
You're watching KSBW Action News 8 at 6. With Dan Green, Aaron Clark, Dennis Lennon Sports, and Weather Watch 8 with Jim Vanderswan. Now, Action News 8 continues.
On the Energy Watch tonight, conservation and farmers. State funds for ag energy conservation are now available to farmers, food processors, and others. It's part of recently approved legislation providing more than $1 billion for various conservation programs, including $90 million specifically targeting special needs of the state's ag industry. California Energy Commission is also offering financial incentives and technical services to the ag industry to reduce electricity use during summer peak hours. Meantime, the chairwoman of the Senate Energy Committee says secret energy contracts negotiated by Governor Gray Davis could trigger additional utility rate increases if natural gas prices soar again. Main reason for that is about half the $43 billion in energy contracts require the state to buy natural gas used by generators to run power plants, while the other half includes a fixed natural gas price. And if prices spike again, current utility rates may not cover the state's cost, which means you will. And if you'd like more information about the most recent developments in the state's energy crisis, check out our website, theksbwchannel.com.
In Houston, Texas, a bizarre story tonight of a 36-year-old mother. She is under arrest, charged with killing her 5 children. Investigators say that Andrea Yates called police at 10 o'clock yesterday morning, admitting to drowning her 4 boys and 1 girl in the bathtub. The children, ages 6 months to 7 years. At a press conference today, Yates' husband spoke out, saying that his wife was suffering from postpartum depression, a disorder that is unique to but not unusual in young mothers. Action News reporter Shelley Haar is live outside our Monterey newsroom with more on just how serious that depression can be. Shelley?
Well, Dan, there are really 3 kinds of depression new moms can have, each with a different degree of severity. But the best treatment experts say for moms who are struggling with some sadness is to talk her feelings through.
We waited a long time to have this baby. We wanted to be ready.
Sarda Desmond gave birth to little Taylor 3 months ago. Says her baby's the best thing she's ever done. But being a new mom, she says, is tough.
Like taking a shower. Taking a shower. We eat a lot of microwave food now.
He was so happy earlier, wasn't he?
Sarda's not alone. Many moms feel overwhelmed, including some in this parents class in Pacific Grove. In fact, 80% of new moms have what's called baby blues, a general sense of sadness the first weeks after delivery. But close to 20% of new moms have a deeper grief lasting months, even years, known as postpartum depression, or PPD.
I suspect it has something to do with vulnerability.
Dr. Thomas Burchard works with women battling PPD. Believed to be caused by hormone changes, the symptoms can be painfully strong.
It's going to manifest itself by changes in physical symptoms like sleep problems, appetite changes, interest in taking care of oneself, hygiene, that sort of thing, and also in cognitive changes where people have depressing thoughts.
Even more severe, Burchard says, is women who have postpartum psychosis. 1 in 500 to 1,000 new moms have that.
And it can actually cause someone to actually believe the child is Satan or is possessed or have delusions. They might act out of a false belief and do something to harm their children.
But no matter what the degree of trouble, too often experts say women don't talk about their symptoms, ashamed for feeling down at all.
Talking about it is the most important thing.
Gail Root leads this group of moms. Once a week, they gather to share the trials and joys of raising a newborn.
So many women are depressed, But they think, well, I just had a new baby. That's the way it's supposed to be. People say, buck up, you know, just get with it. You should be okay. It's also very hard to find safe people to talk to.
But finding those friends, these moms say, is key for their health and their babies.
I just can't imagine what having a new baby would have been like without this place to come and the people to connect with here. I really feel for mothers in other areas that don't have this resource. It's incredible.
Well, for moms that do have postpartum depression, talking is not the only cure. Experts also recommend you talk to a doctor and ask about taking an antidepressant. Dan, back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Shelley. As for Andrea Yates, she is charged with with multiple counts, I should say, of capital murder. If she is convicted, she faces life in prison or execution. Now, if you'd like to read more about postpartum depression, you can check out our website, brand new, the KSBWchannel.com. All right,
moving
Dan,
along.
what's going on?
Yeah, a bit later in sports, Barry Bonds says he's not going to be breaking any records this year. That's what he said anyway. We have Giants and A's highlights from today's games and lots of golf as well. That's ahead, but now the quiz. What American won 7 medals at the 88 Summer Olympics? What American won 7 medals, 1988 Summer Olympic Games, 5 gold, a silver, and a bronze? The answer and the rest of sports in 22 minutes.
Around the world tonight, an amazing sight in Zimbabwe. It happened early this morning. A solar eclipse took nearly an hour and a half for the moon to move across the sun, and within seconds, a great shadow fell over the earth. Stayed that way for about 3 minutes. Awfully cool to watch. The next total eclipse will also hit in Africa, southern Africa, in December 2002, but that will be during the rainy season when there is a much greater chance of cloudy skies. So people may not be able to see it quite so easily. More than 4,000 people actually traveled from as far away as Japan, Israel, and Ecuador to view the eclipse live today.
News across America tonight. Another shot being fired in the long-running battle between Washington and Hollywood. Now, last year, federal regulators were blasting the entertainment industry for what they said was deliberate marketing of adult products to kids. Today, 3 members of Congress are taking that charge a step further. The story tonight from reporter Jim Hanchett.
James Morris wanted to take his 3 children to the movies. The Animal looked like a good bet.
We saw the movie advertised, had cute little animals in it and things like that, and kind of a fun advertisement for the movie.
Oh, nothing's wrong. The Animal is rated PG-13. Morris thought that would mean a few curse words. Instead, the Morris family saw actor Rob Schneider appear to have an intimate encounter with a goat. Morris is so mad he's suing the makers of The Animal for false advertising. He has allies in Washington. 3 lawmakers are trying to win new support for stalled legislation that would force movie, music, and video game makers to end the conflict between the way their products are rated and the way they're sold.
If you say something is not good for kids, how in the world can you justify turning around and marketing directly to them?
Lieberman, along with Democrat Steve Israel and Republican Tom Osborne, the former Nebraska football coach, want to give the Federal Trade Commission the power to crack down on Hollywood. But actor William Baldwin, head of a group of entertainment executives and artists, says the industry can regulate itself. And the head of the Motion Picture Association says if the Lieberman bill is adopted, movie makers may scrap their voluntary rating system rather than face the threat of lawsuits and federal regulations that amount to censorship. In Washington, I'm Jim Hanchett, KSBW, Action News 8.
In a related development, a coalition of medical experts is contending that the current rating system just doesn't work. They're calling on Congress and the entertainment industry to create a new system that would encompass TV, movies, music, and video games.
Still to come tonight on Action News, a high-speed chase in Southern California. It ends 12 hours after it started, and it ends in a shootout. We'll have that for you.
Also, parents, what are you doing to keep track of what your kids are seeing on the internet? Well, you may think you're doing enough, but to your kids, we will find out about a new study.
And this is a live picture from Skycam 8 Monterey. Isn't that beautiful? It's another gorgeous night out there. We're going to look ahead to the weekend. First, though, here's a look at tonight's weather school question, the answer, and the forecast. Coming up with more coverage you can count on.
Now, Weather Watch 8.
Well, we'll start things off with a fantastic look at Monterey, the Monterey Bay. It's from our Embassy Suites live cam. Is it gorgeous out there? A little bit hazy, but just beautiful. And with it being so nice around here, I want to take you out to the rest of the country first and check out the temperature. 77 in Denver, it gets down to 64 right now in St. Louis, 58 in Detroit, and 83 in Miami. Now, there are some big, bad thunderstorms, as usual for this time of year, really soaking up the heart of the country, and then setting up camp over just our side of the Appalachians right now. And there are severe thunderstorm watches in effect. Right now, they're in effect for Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia, and parts of Pennsylvania. Now, Futurecast is taking that and lining it up tomorrow right over the Appalachians. But notice, back where we are, things stay dry. We're going to have a little bit of a shift in terms of our comfort pattern around the state. High temperatures today, 82 in San Francisco, triple digits throughout the Sacramento and San Joaquin valleys, 84 degrees in Lake Tahoe. Things are going to cool off, and we'll see that. But today, high temperatures, 76 in Santa Cruz, 80 degrees in Salinas, down a little bit farther south, 86 in Big Sur, Carmel Valley, 81, Carmel proper, 71, 107 degrees in San Ardo for the hot spot in our area. Still triple digits for Morgan Hill and for Garlictown, Gilroy, 93 in Hollister. Okay, let's check out San Jose, the Tech Museum of Innovation. Right now it's sitting at 91 degrees and just a little bit of a north breeze, really not much. All right, that out of the way, we go back out to the Pacific, and there is a trough of low pressure up here, some clouds far from us. However, this trough of low pressure coming out of the Gulf of Alaska is going to continue to move to the southeast, and you know what it's going to do? It's going to come here to the central coast and cool us off. Our sea breeze that's strengthening over the afternoon hours is not going to hurt that cause either. That's going to bring us some more of that marine air, and day by day over the next few days it's going to get more so and more so as far as the marine cloud layer comes and gets us. It's going to cool us off. So temperatures, 87 in Ben Lomond, about 77 for Salinas for tomorrow, 70 in PG and Monterey, Carmel Valley up to about 78 degrees, a little cooler in San Ardo in the mid-90s, Morgan Hill 93 degrees, Hollister 89. Look for patchy coastal fog and mostly clear skies tonight. Now that coastal fog is going to get heavier and thicker as we go through the week. Not quite as warm, mostly sunny tomorrow, wind out of the west-northwest. Cooling goes on as the weekend begins, and the 5-day forecast shows patchy fog tomorrow, but it's going to get thicker Saturday through Tuesday, and notice the temperatures go down every day of the week. So relief is on the way if you live inland, and it's going to get cooler if you live along the coast. You may not like it.
All right.
Weather school question?
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, this is confusing.
Is it?
Well, yeah, because from the Midwest. We're going to look at the weather school question?
You get big drops. You get big drops. The harder rainfall, big drops, the shorter its duration, and vice versa. Is that true or false?
Isn't that usually true in the Midwest?
I don't know. I don't think so. I've been through a lot of downpours, so I'm going to say false.
All right, I'll say true.
Well, the bigger the drops,
yeah.
You know, those big giant thunderstorms that have those golf ball-sized drops, they don't last very long. But you get a little drizzle and a little fine mist, that lasts a long time.
That was certainly true in the Midwest. Remember that?
When?
It just rains differently in California.
I've blocked that out.
Right.
Frankly, it's all...
Moving along to our gardening report. There you go. Alan Smith tonight is making some great herbal bread.
In every season, herbs play an important role in cooking. And if you've never tried fresh homemade breads cooked with herbs, well, you're missing out on one of life's little treats. Chef Alessio at Il Fornaio restaurant in Carmel, California, learned bread making in his home country of Italy and recently shared some of his traditional cooking methods with me. I've been here and eaten many times, and I love what you all do with food, and particularly with bread. The rosemary bread that you create, I like very much. How much rosemary do you put in a loaf?
Basically, if you want to start with the little bushes over here, I got this one out of the garden on the back, as you can see.
Yeah, sure. Right.
Depending on how much flour. Usually we do about a pound and a half loaf. So on a pound and a half, you just want to put about a little, I would say, about this much.
I see.
You don't want to overpower too much. You still want to have the texture of the bread, the flavor of the bread, with just a little hint of rosemary.
I've noticed in the bread that you use the entire leaf of the rosemary. You don't chop it up.
No, we just peel it as it goes like this, and by the time you work it, you just get the whole little leaf. You actually want to see the herb himself inside.
Right. See the leaf that distinguishes it as rosemary.
As rosemary.
I mean, it's really part of the decoration of the bread.
It is. It is. It's like parsley on a plate.
If you'd like more information on growing and using herbs, just log on to our website. From the garden, I'm Alan Smith.
Dan and I are hungry.
Yeah.
They do have great bread, that's for sure. If you'd like a transcript of tonight's Alan's Garden, write us here at the station, 238 John Street, 93901. Or you can get more gardening tips, a whole lot more on our website, theksbwchannel.com.
Even if you gave me the recipe, I'd screw it up. So
I know.
Just go to El Fornio.
Just go down to El Fornio and pick
there
up
you
a
go.
loaf. There you go.
Hey, there's more to come tonight on Action News. Is the government doing enough to get potentially hazardous products out of the hands of your child? We will take an in-depth look at the issue in our Consumer Watch 8 report.
Magic Johnson getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. We'll take you to that ceremony, all when we come back with more coverage you can count on. Topping our coverage around the state tonight, the parents of missing intern Chandra Levy have launched an independent investigation into their daughter's disappearance. Chandra was last seen in April in Washington, D.C., where she was interning at a federal agency.
We hope to supplement any investigation now ongoing by the Metropolitan Police Department. We understand that we will stay out of their way, but on behalf of the Levy family, we will look into this matter.
Levy's are also meeting with police, trying to get the investigation classified as more than just a missing person. Meantime, a website and an 800 number has been established for leads regarding Levy's disappearance. A bomb scare in Southern California tied up the morning commute for hours today. Police blew up a mysterious object that was lying on the road on the busy Western Avenue. Officers received a call about a bag found there. They got that call about 4 o'clock in the morning. They had to evacuate people who live and work in the area, and they shut down the street and then called in the bomb squad. An investigation is now being done to try to find the person responsible.
A robbery suspect in Southern California is hospitalized tonight after leading police on a high-speed chase and then a standoff. Reporter Jennifer Bjorklund has the story.
Tear gas fired at the suspect. He allegedly fires back with bullets and is critically wounded by sheriff's deputies. 39-year-old Santiago Gutierrez in custody after an all-night standoff. A standoff that closed the 10 freeway in both directions and extended the rush hour toward the midnight hour. All this after a pursuit that lasted most of the afternoon.
I'm told that the pursuit that he took the law enforcement people on was about a 248-mile pursuit, which is incredible in itself.
During that pursuit, several collisions and shots allegedly fired as the suspect waved an enormous weapon out the window. Hours after it was over, that weapon, a Tech-9 assault rifle, recovered out of the van. A reminder of how dangerous these pursuits can be to anyone in the way.
We watched this thing on television as it transpired, and it's real dangerous. I mean, you never know what these people are going to do, what their motivation is, and at one point he was holding out the window towards other motorists, and thank God he didn't shoot it.
And this morning, residents who were kept away from their homes, which were in the line of fire for a time overnight, grateful despite the inconvenience.
They have to protect us too, because we don't know how insane he could be, so everybody who's doing their job, there was not much we could say.
It's made for a long night for you.
Yes, it was a long night. I didn't get much sleep, but what I'm trying to say is that in life we go through so many hardships, and some of us can handle it and some of us cannot, so we have to have a little bit of compassion for the man.
Well, the suspect is in critical condition tonight. He is facing a wide variety of felony charges. Police say he may have been upset about a recent divorce from his wife.
Basketball great Magic Johnson made his mark at a ceremony in Hollywood today. The basketball star received a star along the Hollywood Walk of Fame. But the former Laker was honored in the movie category. Here's why. He launched the Magic Johnson Theaters in 1995 to bring movie theaters to minority neighborhoods underserved by national chains. Magic joined sports stars Jerry West, Rocky Marciano, and Wayne Gretzky on that Walk of Fame. An update now on supermodel Nikki Taylor. Doctors say she is on the road to recovery. Her condition has been upgraded to good, and she is now out of intensive care. Taylor had been in critical condition after suffering liver damage in a car accident several weeks ago. She was a passenger in that car. She is expected to begin rehab therapy soon. Taylor began modeling when she was 14, and she has appeared on more than 200 magazine covers.
Dennis is coming up next. He's got sports.
Some wet golfers and some hot bats. It's coming up just ahead.
Now, Action News 8 Sports with Dennis Lennon.
Ah, the anticipation. Barry Bonds not in the starting lineup today for the Giants game in San Diego. Barry Bonds, though, still the talk of the town for his home runs and now his comments. Barry Bonds telling the San Francisco Reporter that there's not a chance of him breaking the mark for McGwire's home run record. The 70 home runs McGwire hit in the season in '98. Bonds in the San Francisco Chronicle article says, and I quote, the gut feeling in my heart says I don't think so. I can't do it. I'm not Mark McGwire. I'm not that powerful of a hitter. Bonds has 38 homers right now, well ahead of McGwire's pace when he hit 70. Bonds and McGwire will meet this weekend when the Giants play in St. Louis. The Giants in San Diego today completing a series with the Padres, and Giants get a couple of home runs without Barry Bonds in the lineup. Right here, Ramon Martinez, gone. Giants scored at least one run in each of the first 5 innings. They've been good lately. Later in the game, Marvin Bernard, who gets a chance to play again and delivers a home run here. Giants win it by 5. They are in a real good groove right now. Giants have won 8 of their last 9 games, and this weekend they'll take on the St. Louis Cardinals in St. Louis. And watch this weekend to see how many times Tony La Russa chooses to walk Barry Bonds. That will be interesting to see this weekend. At the Coliseum in Oakland this afternoon, the A's wrapping up their series with the Seattle Mariners. And the A's put a hurting on Seattle starter John Hallam in the first inning. Jason Giambi drives in a run right here. He also homered in the game. A's scored 6 times in the bottom of the first, but guess what? That would not be enough. Mariners battled their way back. Home run here, Al Martin. In fact, there were 7 homers in the game. Not great pitching on either side. Seattle comes back from a 6-0 deficit and they win it. 12-10. Mike Cameron homer here. This team, Seattle, just doesn't lose very often. The A's, well, they drop another one. The Mariners record 54-17. The A's home tomorrow night against Texas. Jose Canseco is back in the major leagues. Passed his physical today. He's in the lineup tonight with the White Sox. Canseco, the DH for Chicago's game against Baltimore. Former Dallas Cowboys star receiver Michael Irvin today indicted on felony charges of possession of cocaine. This stemming from an arrest last summer. Irvin's lawyer says the former All-Pro receiver is completely innocent and he will seek a jury trial. In golf, first round of the PGA's Buick Classic, hampered by very much rain and water. A lot of rain, as you see. That's what rain is, Dennis. Still, the fans come out to see Tiger Woods, rain or shine. Really started to come down once he started to play. And umbrellas everywhere. Play stopped, and Scott Hoke is the clubhouse leader. And just looking at Tiger Woods here, and you know he's thinking right here, I wished I didn't have that $1 zillion endorsement deal with Buick and I wouldn't have to be here. But he does, and he does. Okay, women's golf. Wendy Ward is the leader by 1 shot after the first round of the LPGA Championship in Delaware. Keeping to the links now, it's time for another visit from our buddy in the bunker, our friend on the fairways. He is the director of the Pebble Beach Golf Academy. He is Laird Small.
In chipping, what we want to be able to control is the low point, which means where the club is touching the ground. We want to have the club touch the ground in the same place each time, which gives us consistency, predictability. Here's a way to be able to test it so you can give yourself some good feedback to know if you're doing it right. 2 ways to do it. Number 1, take your setup and now start making some practice swings, paying attention to where the club is touching the ground. Now shift the focus of your eyes to your target and see if the club is still touching the ground in the same place or is in a different location. And you'll also feel that your body's moving a little bit in response to the golf club. Now when you finish with your shot, you should be able to hold your position here and drop the club, and it should fall in this position here away from you. What you don't want to do is when you're chipping is have the club be in this position, an attitude where it would shish kebab you when you're hitting your shots. Let me show you with a shot what it will look like, and here's a really nice way to practice. There, drop the club. I can see how it's going across, and that's a perfect technique for your chipping. If you need more help with your golf game, see your local LPGA or PGA professional.
Let's answer the quiz. What American won 7 medals at the 88 Summer Olympic Games? 7 medals, all going to the great swimmer Matt Biondi. 5 golds, a silver, and a bronze back in 88.
Matt Biondi.
Yes.
From San Jose, right?
Bay Area.
He swam in Santa Clara.
Bay Area has produced lots, and Sacramento area, lots of great swimmers.
With
Pablo
Mark Spitz.
Morales, Mark Spitz. Yeah.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dennis.
All right, coming up next on Action News, we'll tell you why a trip to Disneyland may not put a dent in your wallet after all.
We'll also find out why Microsoft may have more legal troubles ahead. First, our shot of the day, Skycam 8 Santa Cruz. Sun setting on another lovely evening. We'll add our local conditions, and we'll be right back with more coverage you can count on. In tonight's field report, produce and weather. Many ag businesses say they are not taking any chances in this hot weather, nor are they taking any chances with rolling blackouts. Since summer months are critical for packing and shipping perishable fruits like peaches and nectarines, many of them are now renting diesel-fueled generators to cool things off and keep them cool. Some packers have also shifted their operations to overnight hours in order to save money on energy. Federal money could boost a Buy California campaign to promote the state's produce. Governor Davis has proposed the program to encourage California consumers to buy farm goods grown in the state. The governor plans to spend $5 million on the program. There is a but, though. Farmers have to match that amount.
On the Money Watch tonight, the cost of getting into Disney's new California theme park, it is going down. Disney says they are slashing adult ticket prices to the park to $33. That's down from $43. And all kids get in there with an adult for free now. Both discounts good through Labor Day. The price cut is to lure more people to the California Adventure Park. And attendance right now, they say, is well below expectations. Microsoft has some more legal worries. The state attorney general pursuing the original antitrust lawsuit now say that they are privately discussing a new suit to file against the company over its new Windows XP system. The group says they're concerned about Microsoft's plans to bundle new features into the XP operating system, allegedly manipulating the public, they say.
In tonight's Consumer Watch 8 report, is the government's Consumer Product Safety Commission falling down on the job? One major consumer group says the commission should be working harder to get the word out when dangerous kids' products are recalled and to make manufacturers comply with those recalls. Action News reporter Laura Kinney of our Hearst Argyle, Washington newsroom has the story.
Recalls on kids' products should protect the public, but one consumer group is finding weak links.
Some of the companies we called said, well, we're not sure if we're part of that recall, or we don't have parts available. This is very distressing.
The number you have dialed is not in service. While researching its own safety website, the Consumer Federation tested hundreds of hotlines from government recall notices and found 1 in 5 were outdated or didn't work. What's more, CFA says recalls on durable goods can expire long before the products do. And the Consumer Federation points to another problem. Products like these with no manufacturer name or contact information anywhere on them. The government doesn't require it, but parents can't be sure they have the recalled item. CFA wants the government to act. And today, the Consumer Product Safety Commission responded, pledging better policing of hotlines.
There's going to be a systematic effort now to insist that companies inform CPSC when they let go of an 800 number.
As for no expiration recalls, CPSC says maybe for the riskiest items. And the agency may try product response cards to help get the word out on recalls. Meantime, CFA isn't waiting. They say their new website gives parents another resource to find unsafe products. In Washington, Lori Kinney, Action News 8.
Consumer Federation said today they hope this is a wake-up call for the CPSC, but they're not entirely critical of the agency. They say it does a good job of locating these dangerous products. It just needs to do more follow-up. Do you closely monitor your child's use of the internet? Most parents say they do. According to a new study, it found that 61% of parents claim they set limits on when and for how long their children can be online. Same number also claim they check the websites that their children visit. Now, while those numbers are high, they conflict with what children tell surveyors. Only 37% of children say they have restrictions on what they can do on the internet, and only about 1 in 4 believes mom or dad actually checks websites that they have accessed. Air traffic controllers fired 20 years ago by President Reagan won't be able to use the courts to get their jobs back. That ruling came today from a judge in Miami. In 1981, the controllers were fired after they went on strike, but President Clinton allowed them to reapply for jobs with the FAA. Some have been rehired, but for those who haven't, they say the FAA is dragging its feet, so they filed suit. The judge today, though, said those claims belong in front of a federal administrative agency, not in the courts. If you want more information on these stories or other Consumer Watch 8 news, check our website, theksbwchannel.com. Also on the website, you will find the top 10 safest vehicles for your family, and car insurance will tell you how much you really need, and the answer may surprise you.
All right, coming up on Action News, animal stories, plus we'll update our weather.
Well, let's take a look at tonight's top stories. First, though, let's see what some local companies did on Wall Street today. We'll be right back.
If you joined us after the beginning of the newscast, here's a look at our top stories.
A Monterey County man could find out tomorrow whether or not he'll be tried for the rape and murder of a Monterey woman more than 20 years ago. A hearing to determine if there is enough evidence to put Michael Adams on trial for the crime got underway today. It's expected to wrap up tomorrow.
House fire in Castroville claimed the life of a 34-year-old woman. It happened at about 3 o'clock this morning. A slumber party was underway in the house. 7 people got out safely, but Roxanne Springer went back inside to save her dogs, according to relatives. She was overcome by the smoke.
Lotto fever hitting hard in California at $125 million and growing. Saturday's Super Lotto Plus jackpot is the biggest single state jackpot in the nation's history. The current prize marks only the 3rd time in California history that the jackpot has surpassed $100 million. Largest jackpot on record is $363 million, but that's one of those multi-state.
Well, you know, the odds are better that you could form your own, wholesale power company and make $125 million selling it to the state, but still it's fun. So.
Yeah, and the odds are better still that you'll enjoy the weather tomorrow because it's going to be another nice day. Cooling down, though. We will be getting a little bit cooler day by day. Here's the latest satellite picture showing clear skies all over central California from here to, well, you name it. Temperatures right now, 72 in Salinas, down in San Luis Obispo, 80 degrees. Oakland's at 75 and still cooking over in Stockton with triple digits. Now, surfers, the swell has not been very good for a long time. Tomorrow on the bay, sailors, you'll have a better time. A little bit of a breeze, but not too much. Not quite as warm tomorrow as we start this cooling trend. It will be mostly sunny, though. 3-day forecast, well, we're going to have that patchy fog and low cloudiness tomorrow morning, and then it gets gets thicker and more widespread for the weekend and cooler.
All right, thank you very much. Also coming up at 11 tonight, more than a dozen Duke Energy employees are in the hospital after eating bad food from a catering truck. We'll have a live report. Also on the Health Watch tonight, making dreams come true. A Seaside teenager with very severe disabilities gets a gift that will make a tough life a little easier. And on the first day of summer, we'll take a look at vacations. A new study shows it's almost impossible to relax without taking your work with you. All right, we'll find out about that.
While taking your work with you, I would think, but We'll see what it says. All right, finally, animal stories. Tonight, visiting the dentist. If this is a big fear for you, you might wonder what the dentist is afraid of. Well, we found it. The big patient, the big man-eating patient. This is Ping Ping, the polar bear from SeaWorld in Australia, and in dire need of a root canal. Enter Gary Wilson, DDS, who got the unenviable task of sticking his hands into a mouth that would just as soon take a bite out of his head. Says Dr. Wilson, the key here is anesthesia. Really good anesthesia. Forget the Novocaine. They brought out the heavy stuff, and a few hours later, good news, Ping Ping is ready to chop again. Dr. Wilson has his hands And there's good dental health in the polar bear world once
Look
again.
at that tooth. Wow.
Oh, God, it's that needle thing, isn't it? That's our report. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back at 11. Until then, have a great night, everyone. You take care.
Good night.
Thanks for watching the #1 news team on the Central Coast. KSBW Action News 8.